All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. Our party is gathered together inside of the first steps into the Underdark. We already know about a particular puzzle here that likes to deal some unnecessary damage to our adventurers, so I'm going to take it out beforehand. There is a blood moon gem in the hands of a statue. That blood moon gem powers a trap that shoots out of gargoyles' mouths if you walk through the door. I was completely stunned by this stone the first time I saw it, and I think I will be again. I think they did such a phenomenal job down here. We kind of rushed through this area on Sam, admittedly. I mean, I didn't necessarily want to rush, but that's what ended up happening. There was a very, 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 very strong group of enemies on the right-hand side that beat me the fuck up. There's no better way of explaining it than that. However, I do wonder if Liz's party might have a better shot. Also, you know, if I could get up to level 5, that would probably help as well. So as we leave the gates, we see an ancient Selunite journal. Let's see if we can read this. We also see skeletons of deceased adventurers. I can't sleep without the moon and the stars. As a child, I prayed to them before I ever knew Selûne's name. Is that blasphemy? When I walk the battlements, the only light I see is the glowing of their eyes out there, waiting. I know the High Initiate is making a plan. He'll get us out of this. We're making a stand. Moon Maiden fair, lend us your light to guide us home in dark of night, to keep us on the path of right, ever burning, ever bright. The last line of the prayer succumbs to blurring as if stained by something wet. As we look around, we see clouds of some kind of purple mist floating in every direction that we can go. You may have noticed it already, but the rock of this cave is covered in fungus and mushrooms. And as we move up to the edge just to peek over the side, we could see that they come in a variety of colors. I was just run over by that fucking thing. Whatever that was. Who are we missing? Gale, you're supposed to be with the party. See if he keeps coming down here. He is. Good. So, lots of explosive barrels at the top as well. Wooden barrels. Liz is lucky enough to be able to see in dark locations. Gale cannot. You can see the difference in their vision. Makes a big deal. It's a big deal. Why aren't you following the group? So, here we go. We hear something say, more are coming.
Who? What in the hells are you?
Still your mind to this unusual place.
No, listen. A mic in it. It's warning us.
They're coming. You're coming. Looks like there's a path that heads further down here, as well as a path on the high ground here. We see some kind of rock with a great sword implanted into it and a helmet on top of the great sword. Maybe a shrine to something, maybe just a burial for a soldier. Oh, hold the phone. As we look across, we see something. It appears to not be moving and is very, very far away. Unless we have some form of flight, which we don't. We don't.
Timusks, known to cause confusion. Best not get too close.
The blue plant known to cause confusion. Okay. What happens if we walk through the mist again? Nothing so far. Nothing again. But this is where we pretty desperately need to be careful. This is where the strongest enemies I have fought in this game reside. 2 hulking minotaurs. Last time we avoided these guys completely because I spent like an hour trying to kill them.
Broken bones must have fallen.
Ooh, broken bones must have fallen, she says. Yeah. I think that's probably right. It's not bad enough that there's 1 minotaur in here we have to deal with, but there's 2. I tried to figure out what the best way to attack those guys would be. And upon reflection, I think the safest place to fight them is actually to the left here, which is going to require our entire party to get in there undetected. And as you can see, their sight lines kind of go all over the place. They're definitely watching their land here. I'm making a run for it now. Ooh, shit. Ooh, shit. He's going back over to his corner. Oh, he's gonna see us. Hiding successful somehow. But not back there. Okay, the fight has begun. They're really not in a bad spot, though. Let's do a charisma hex. And that is how we begin. Gale already at no life. As he gets jumped on, he's taken down to 2 HP. And Gale has already been defeated. Now just being tossed around against the ground. Shadowheart stands back up on her feet. She is going to do a healing word 2 on Gale to get him back up and can't reach the destination. You're the one that just went the other way. You went. Okay. Healing word is ranged. Healing word level 2. Gale stands back up. And let's cast mirror image on ourselves. If you can move up to be here, that would be great. Asterian's turn. He's going to jump down and fire an arrow at the only minotaur he can see. 42% chance to hit. Critical miss. Their armor class is insane. A leap is done again, which knocks down Gale. And the Minotaur goes for a reckless rage, right? Isn't that what barbarians do? As he moves past Shadowheart, the Minotaur takes some damage, but then immediately knocks down Asterian. The hexed Minotaur's down on the bottom there. We hit him with a very hard-hitting Eldritch Blast, which sends him back. The next Minotaur jumping down. Luckily, Shadowheart actually passes the saving throw. Another Reckless Rage being used as the Minotaur turns towards Gale for a critical hit as he's still on the ground, and a second hit which is going to immediately end his life. We are going to see Shadowheart go for another healing word, this time on Astarion, who slowly gets back up to his feet. She then turns and looks towards the hulking Minotaur. Actually, just attack the one next to you. I think that's fine. 6 damage. Astarion gets back up on his feet. He is going to try to jump to the rocks above him. He was successful in that. And he's going to fire an arrow kind of at the left back of the shoulder of the first Minotaur, the one that was knocked down by the Eldritch Blast. Even though he has a much better position this time, that was, again, unsuccessful as he scurries a little bit further up the rock face. 3 damage being done to the Minotaur on the low ground as he jumps forward, landing next to Shadowheart, knocking her down to the ground. He then pulls the weapon off of his back, but the branch he is using is so massive that he somehow misses Shadowheart with not only 1 but 2 attacks there as he goes to move again. Because he has this reckless status, he becomes easier to hit as well. Unfortunately, he was trying to tell me I didn't have vision, which I was going to be so mad. An Eldritch Blast to the back of the Minotaur, 35 health remaining. We do 8 damage, knocking him away from Shadowheart again. It's starting to appear, though, that knockbacks aren't the best use of our time. The Minotaur, down by the body of Gale, takes 5 damage some damage from some fire that was happening. And then he connects 2 massive attacks onto Shadowheart that send her body ragdolling. 1 Minotaur jumps up to the high ground next to Liz as well. Or is he? I can't actually tell. Astarion once again going to pull back on his bow. Focusing on the Minotaur, we finally connect with 20 damage to the back of the Minotaur as Astarion once again makes his way higher up and tries to lower himself to be more even with the terrain around him. The Minotaur knows that Astarion was over there somewhere, jumps towards the rocks, does not connect with anything, but we do see Shadowheart officially fall. Now we're in a bit of a problem here, as the Minotaurs are beginning to make their way over to Liz. We are going to see Liz fire off an Eldritch Blast at the Minotaur with 3 HP, 65% chance to land. It misses. I'm gonna try to hide behind this box. I think that's my best bet right now. We tried to stealth, it didn't work. This guy still doesn't seem to know where he is. Am I gonna be able to attack this Minotaur? He's in the rock. Astarion pulls back his arrows, missing yet again on the Minotaur with low HP. He then gets back down. Liz is in a very, very bad spot here as the Minotaur rages and runs up the ramp nearby. He's going to do a main hit attack, which is going to hit Liz for 18 damage. And then go for a headbutt, but Liz is just narrowly going to be able to dodge the blow. She has 1 HP remaining as she reaches out her hand and touches the Minotaur next to her. We see him just disintegrate from the damage of a chilled touch. Liz's only option now is to jump away from the Minotaur's range. She sees a rope nearby, a rope ladder, tries to move towards it, but just can't quite make it there. Before the Minotaur goes into another reckless rage after seeing his ally die, and he jumps directly on top of Liz, headbutting her into the rocks. Not once, but twice. Astarion stays very low to the ground and attempts to use a resurrection scroll. This first one is going to be on Shadowheart. Still can't get it. Choose a destination. We're going to put her up top. Shadowheart just kind of blinks her eyes, realizing that she is alive again, and she's not in combat, coincidentally. She's going to cure her wounds a couple times. Actually, just one time. She is then going to drink one of these huge potions, get herself back up to fighting Snuff. We're going to stealthily make our way down. Remember that combat is still in play for two of our adventurers, but not for Shadowheart. We are going to cast a spell this time on Gale, who once again blinks his eyes thinking he was dead, but reappears on a cliff's face. Gale, however, is in combat with the enemy. Shadowheart still sneaking her way up the ledge. She sees Liz being pushed up against the wall, unconscious, as this Minotaur is just hovering over her. She's going to reach forward and cure wounds,
Take you.
bringing Liz back up to her feet. Astarion moves through the shadows with the power of his new amulet to get closer to the action here. And now it is the Minotaur's turn. Oh no! The Minotaur choosing not to fight Liz, not to fight Shadowheart, but instead leaping to the ramp that Astarion and Gale were trying to move up as they both go down. Well, they don't make it easy, do they? Liz is going to use all of her movement to rush forward, reapply a charisma hex on the Minotaur, and then fire off an Eldritch Blast directly into its chest for 18 damage, sending the Minotaur back but not flying. Now it's the Minotaur's turn, who jumps back into combat, knocking down Liz, breaking the concentration of the hex, and pushing her body. Oh my god, this fight is insane. Okay, I can't res these guys. They're a little too far. Do we have to just try to hold the line here? Infuse a creature with psionic force if its hit points reach 0. They're already unconscious, so that wouldn't do anything. I can't charm person. I could guiding bolt. It's not going to do 42 damage, though, I can tell you that. 19. As the party stays on the ground, it all comes down to this. Reckless Rage has been used. The Minotaur decides to jump back on the remainder of the party, trying to deal damage, pushing Astarion's body further down the ramp, and then rushing to finish the job with a headbutt. Astarion is dead now. And it looks like Gale may have just met his maker. It is our turn again. We will do a healing word on Liz, which will bring her back to her feet. On her turn, I suppose. And we are not going to stack up, but we're going to rush forward. And if I can, I don't think I can. Yeah, I was going to drink a potion. Okay. Illusion, distract your enemies. Do you think... I mean... I could cast resistance on Liz, on myself. I'm going to do it on myself. Liz stands up, sees the Minotaur that has taken her down multiple times, applies a charisma hex. This is a new cast. And then fires another Eldritch Blast at its chest. This time, knocking it down to the lower ground. He has 7 HP remaining as Liz moves far away from Shadowheart to not cleave any damage. The Minotaur climbing up the rock face to get back up here, goes for the head button, connects with the side of Liz, going for another one, dealing 23 damage. She is on the ground as Gale burns out, and that familiar necrotic aura starts to emit from his body, that blue glow that we've become very accustomed to here. We have an 80% chance to land this shot. If it doesn't land, this is over. It is literally all going to come down to this attack as we see Shadowheart moving forward, axe in hand. 8 damage to the side of the Minotaur as they both are now limp, lifeless, bleeding out on the ground. Oh my god, we actually did it. I could not kill that with Sam's group. I tried so many times, so many different strategies. That is a hard fight, my dude. That is a hard fight, and that's gonna do it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the thumbs up button for me, my dudes. That was one hell of a fight. We're gonna continue to explore the rest of the Underdark next time. Goodbye.